Ladies and gentlemen,
This is the Dental Up Podcast, brought to you by Keating Dental Arts, a full-service, award-winning dental laboratory. Each week, you'll learn tips and techniques from real-world dentists, bringing you in-depth interviews, motivating stories, current events, and sports. Here's your host, Sean Keating.
Hey everyone, Sean here. Welcome to another episode of the Dental Up Podcast. Our guest this week received his undergraduate degree from Rutgers University and completed his dental degree at the University of Pennsylvania. He has been involved in Jamesburg, Monroe Township activities for over 30 years and is the 2018 Townie Choice Award cover winner. Currently practicing from Jamesburg, New Jersey. Please welcome Dr. Jerry Rosenberg, DMD FAGD. How's it going, Dr. Rosenberg?
It's going fabulous. Thank you so much for having me on.
That's so cool, dude. I loved it, man. Last month I opened up the Dental Town and I'm going, hey, Dr. Rosenberg, I know that guy. That's just so cool that you got the cover of Dental Town, man. You've made it. I had that a couple times myself back in the day, and great things happened after I was on that cover. So I think great things are going to happen to you. You do a lot of great things in this industry, and we'll get on this. I know we got a short one today, but dude, that's just so awesome. Hey, I always start off a little bit talking about sports. You get any of those football games out there in New Jersey last week? You watch those Rams play or the Saints or any of the teams you like out there?
Here in New Jersey, where my practice is, we're kind of halfway between New York and Philadelphia.
Okay.
So we have a lot of New York fans. We have a lot of Philadelphia fans, but those games were just awesome last weekend. 2 overtime games in one day.
Exactly.
How crazy is that?
And
how crazy is that?
How right were they, the number one, number two in both the leagues played each other, and they came down to overtime. And so, yeah, it was real exciting to watch those games, man.
I'm glad I wasn't that referee who blew that call, though.
Oh, that
was terrible.
That's gonna stay
but
around.
That's part of sports.
Yeah, it is. I mean, a lot of things and different. You don't remember them after a few years, but this might stick for a while. I mean, it was pretty heavy duty penalty. It wasn't called, but anything could have happened. They can't just say that one play. I mean, they might not have scored. They might have, still did a field goal, but who knows? I'm okay with it, man. I'll live with that. But yeah, in Philadelphia, man, I thought they were going to have it. I just, I really liked Philadelphia, and I liked the whole quarterback thing. They got that Carson Wentz, and then they have this Nick Foles that, they kind of just, he's a backup, and this other guy's still a quarterback. Well, this guy took you to the game almost 2 years in a row to the Super Bowl and won it one year. And I don't know. I think Nick Foles is going to find himself a great job out there, if not with Philadelphia next year.
He definitely has magic going on.
That's awesome. Well, dude, that's so cool. Well, hey, let's dental up now. So I always like to start off talking, at what point in your career did you think, I want to be a dentist?
During high school, I started thinking about it and doing a little research on it. And when I went to college at Rutgers, decided to do a kind of an externship at a local hospital, JFK Medical Center, and spent a couple of days there, one afternoon a week for a couple of years, and just to see and look and see what dentists do and what the average day of a dentist was. And then one summer, I helped a dentist up in our area, kind of full-time as an assistant. So I really just wanted to get in to see what dentistry was about. And one of the things I really liked was the idea of being your own boss, being able to determine what your life is going to be and what your day is going to be. So that kind of attracted me, and I like to do hands-on. So basically during college, I became heavy into the idea of becoming a dentist, but you really need to go into an office and really see what it's like. And that's something I recommend to people thinking about dental school is spend some time in the industry to know what it's like.
What was Pennsylvania like? I got a lot of doctors from Pitt. Is Pitt close to Pennsylvania and the colleges, or no, total different areas of Pennsylvania?
Well, yeah, Pittsburgh is out in West Pennsylvania, whereas University of Pennsylvania is right in Philadelphia,
okay.
In West Philadelphia, smack in the middle there. So, I got accepted to a number of dental schools, but my dad had gone to Wharton when he was in college, and so I kind of had an affinity for, University of Pennsylvania, and decided to go there. And Penn was great, but thinking back on Penn, and that was back in the days of D. Walter Cohen, and they were just very big into perio. And back then we would try to save anything with like 2 Sharpies fibers on it, just by doing periodontal treatment. And things have definitely changed with the advent of implants now. When implants came about, we had to change our mindset in trying to save every single periodontally involved tooth. So,
I know. I got this one doctor who's a periodontist, and he just believes in periostat's the lifesaver. But you gotta take a pill every day the rest of your life. I mean, how's that really working in perio patients? Is periostat the holy grail of perio, or no?
It's not going to hurt anything, but it's an adjunct, just like all the other adjuncts in perio. And obviously, the biggest thing is for a perio patient for them to be invested in what they're doing. If they're not invested in doing the work at home, but the ones that do invest, those are the rewarding ones when they come in for their recall and their gums are just pink and tight. That gets me so excited that we've made their mouth a much better place.
Absolutely. No, it's important for them to realize that. I've seen a lot of people with some loose teeth, man. You can go in there and almost pull them out. It's like, dude, that's just kind of crazy. But okay, well, tell me a little bit. Now, when you got out of college, you start off as an associate, or did you purchase a practice? Tell me a little bit about that, if you could.
I started out as an associate in Jamesburg, New Jersey. Jamesburg, New Jersey is a cute little town, 1 square mile diameter, and I started there right out of dental school, and I worked as an associate for another dentist in town. And after about 2 years, I just got the feeling that I wanted to have my own practice. 2 years after dental school, I had met my wife, Vicki. We got married, and we found a house on one of the best corners in town. And in fact, we got married right in that house, and we opened up a home office 3 years after I graduated from dental school. And I just wanted to get into, being my own boss and having my own practice.
No kidding. That's awesome. Yeah, your wife's a real go-getter and kind of the business mind behind the practice. I have quite a few dentists with their wives that kind of one does the business part of it and the other one does the dental part, and it seems to work out real well for most of the people that I've encountered that have done it that way. And so your wife's a real backbone to your practice, huh?
We're definitely a partnership between the two of us, and we definitely complement each other. She does most of the design work and designing, the layout of the practice when we built it originally, and then we did a renovation back in 2005, and she designed that. She is the person who makes the facility run the building and taking care of all the maintenance. She's just fabulous, and it's a good compliment to what I do.
That's so awesome. Yeah, I got my wife does the same thing at home, man. I can't change a light bulb. She's in there. She takes care of all the business, hires the plumbers and everything else, and I'm just the knucklehead that knows how to make teeth. But it's worked out 36 years, man. Same like you. That's just awesome, dude. So tell me a little bit about the layout of your practice. How many ops do you got working, and tell me a little bit about your staff, how many hygiene, stuff like that.
Sure. Well, we have 4 operatories. And as I said, we started out in 1986 with a home office, which was, we loved a lot being able to, as you're just building up the practice and you only have maybe half a day or 2/3 of a day of patients, then I can go in and see my kids and spend time with the family. Then in 1995, we moved out and made the whole building into a dental office. So we have 4 operatories, about 2,000 square feet. And just very comfortable. As I said, my wife did a great job in designing the flow of the office. I love the flow of the office. And the staff, we have, full-time hygienist Joanna and a part-time hygienist Cheryl. The staff, I think, is one of the best parts of my practice. All my patients come in and say, your staff is just so helpful. That's awesome. Lila, my dental assistant, she's been with me 18 years. And the patients come in, and if I walk into the operatory first, they'll say, "Where's Lila? Where's Lila?" I want to talk to Lila today. And Debbie is our scheduler. Debbie's job is to keep me busy and deal with our patients and help them try to get an appointment that works for them. One of the big things about our patients is the area that we're in. there is about 7 or 8 communities of people 55 and over.
Okay.
So a lot of our patients are mature patients. I got patients up to about 103 years old.
That's awesome.
And every day I try maybe treat 2 or 3 patients in their 90s every day.
No
So
kidding.
some very interesting work and some very interesting dentistry or problems come up that you need to try to problem solve.
Oh, I bet, dude. What about you? Get any wise guys out there, man? The Soprano brothers or any of those guys?
My wife and I met one guy who said he was a wise guy in a restaurant once. I'll never forget that story. And he wanted to come see me as a patient. I said, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, I know. Oh, it's so crazy that's actually real. I mean, I go to Chicago every year for the midwinter, and I remember probably 20 years ago going, and me and my wife were in it's called the Rosebud, and it's this little Italian place, and there was actually some guys that were like total mobster guys, like 8 of them at their table. That was back when you could smoke in the restaurant, and the one guy, they were dressed like to the nines. I mean, so nice. And the one dude's like pulled out the newspaper, goes, "Look at, man, I'm in the paper today," and they're writing up about this racketeering lawsuit or something. And it's just crazy, like it's real. And we had to wait like an hour and a half. It was like the first time we ever went there. We had to wait, to get in there, and we waited at the bar, and then we finally sat down right by these guys, man. Scared you straight, man. It made you like, I was like, yes, sir, no, sir. And, that's so nuts, but that's kind of crazy. So tell me a little bit about what are some of your favorite procedures you like doing in the practice? I mean, you like doing full rehabs? You like doing onesie twosies? What's your go-to procedure when you're working mostly?
My favorite procedures these days, we love to do implants. Implants are just such a great service to patients. This titanium, you can't get a decay on titanium.
Yep.
The predictability of implants and the predictability of zirconia and EMAX also. What excites me these days compared to when I started dentistry is because of the digitization of dentistry.
Yes.
Between the scanners and the milling machines, the fit of this work is just so awesome.
Exactly.
Whether it's implants, whether it's zirconium or EMAX.
It's amazing.
Back in the days when we used to do porcelain fused to metal, and you had to worry about maybe the porcelain chipping or the fit of the porcelain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys see it from your end, the ability to insert a crown or insert work. I'm just so excited about the fit, and it has to do with
and the breakage. Where, like you said, because we're about the same time in the industry, and it's such a relief. Just like you say, we still do a ton of PFMs, and we're pretty damn good at them. You really got to have everything dialed in. There's a lot of moving parts to it. But, you get a little flex here and there, and that's popping like a tin can, and you're popping porcelain, where this monolithic and some of the newer zirconias that we're doing and milling, there's no breakage, man. And the fit, like you're saying, when we're doing digital, there's no variables, man. It's right there. I can do a cement gap of whatever I want and microns on the cement layer and everything else, and it's just so amazing and just a lot less stress, man. I got a lot of gray hair in my early career by just trying to get this stuff to work, man. But no, that is so neat. Now, what about do you are you syncing implants? Are you working with an oral surgeon, or do you doing your endo? What do you send out, and what do you like to do in house?
I mean, as far as root canals, I love to send them out because again, the technology these days, you can't beat an endodontist who has a CBCT and has a scope. And so you want your success rate. For my patients, I want my success rate to be as high as possible. So having an endodontist do the root canals, or that's just my way of going.
Yep,
implants, I love to restore implants.
Yes.
Whether it's a single tooth or an all-on 4 or bridge work. And so I do use local oral surgeons. And again, the ability for them to use a CBCT and get that in the right place to make my job easier. It's just the way to go.
Oh, absolutely. I see that more and more with a lot of dentists that are successful, that have peace of mind, that sleep well, they do what they do best, and they, let the other guys do what they do best, and you're still crushing it. You're doing a ton of work, and I just think that's a good logic. Now, I know you're in a small town there. What is it, 1 square mile long? I'm in a similar little town, but you got like 5 dental practices around you, and it's just it would seem like it'd be kind of tough for business. So, what are you doing, for your marketing strategy and your mailers, social media? What are you doing to drive patients to your practice that helps you stand out? It's just the longevity of you being in town, or what do you do there to kind of drive some patients to you?
Well, we've been there for 32 years, and so the way we started out was community involvement.
Okay.
At that point, my wife and I and our kids, we lived in town, and we built a practice on being involved in the community. We were involved in the soccer club there for many, many years, and I was on the board of education, and my wife was on a committees we had the 100th anniversary of Jamesburg.
That's awesome.
She helped on that. So we started building the practice on community involvement and internal referrals, because we find that internal referrals are the best referrals that we can get. And I think our biggest referral I get, as I said, was our staff. People just love our staff. Staff's so friendly. They care about our patients. Some of our patients who are senior citizens, and they may need a little more TLC, and the staff helping them with it. That's the way to go. Obviously, these days, your online presence for the younger generation is a big thing. So we're working on our online reviews, and I still get patients who haven't seen me in 10 years. They moved out of town, they moved back, or they had decided to go to another dentist, and they'll come back 10 years later. And I'll see patients who haven't been in the office for 10 years, 15 years, and all of a sudden they decide to come back and see us because their insurance changed, and now they want to see us, and they know we'll do a good job for them.
That's so awesome. And I hear that more and more. Like, the most successful practices are the ones that have had their staff with them a long time. I mean, it's so important, to just from consistency, kind of like even in the football, arena, with Super Bowl teams, they've been together a long time. Look at Brady and Belichick and stuff. It's just a cohesion that you have, and when you have your staff together so long and they treat people good, I mean, that's just the biggest thing, the kind of the golden rule. Treat people good. The referrals you get is going to be your number one marketing for your practice. And I was just reading something today, and it was just something like the number one service fast food place out there is Chick-fil-A. And they don't work on Sundays. It's a religious thing and all that. And there's a big thing of the Super Bowl on Sunday, and Chick-fil-A won't be open inside the stadium. And it's just like, but you know what they're doing is they've trained their people and management. They try to really stress please and thank you with all their workers, and they do that over and over with them. And just the please and a thank you in a conversation with people, it goes so far. And just being nice, and people see that and they want that, especially in this day and age. So a little is a please and a thank you. It sets you above and beyond all the other competition out there in the food industry. I'm sure it's in any industry, to treat people nice, and it'll come back to you.
And two things maybe other practices that don't do. If somebody needs to go see a specialist, and sometimes you'll call a specialist and they won't see you got a patient who's in pain and needs a root canal. And our job is to get on the phone and make sure that patient gets over there, gets in a timely manner. If they need to get an extraction from the oral surgeon, they get in a timely manner.
Yeah.
If they're 93 years old and maybe we need to discuss their treatment with their children, spend some time on their phone with their children and go over what the options are so that, they're well taken care of. So, you try to do some things to help their experience and move it forward. I just was on the phone with a lady from France whose father is in Jersey here, and I had to discuss the case, with her in France and what we're going to try to do for her father here, who's just a wonderful person. But, sometimes they need a little help from their family in what should be done with them.
Absolutely. No, that's so true. And, it just goes so far. But that's so cool. Well, I know it's a real big thing for you. I know you've been working in Uganda the last few years, and you have this dental mission that you've been doing, and you're spearheading another one this year in 2019. And I kind of want to put some things on our show notes that maybe there's a link that can, because I know you're real passionate about that and just going out there and doing what you're doing. And even if there's some dentists that might want to get on board and help out with some of the trips going forward. I mean, we'd love to help you, and even too as us as a dental lab, if I can help with some denture teeth or whatever. I'm not sure because I know it's all immediate. It's a lot of extractions, a lot of different things. Tell me a little bit about how you got involved with that, and tell me about what's coming up for the new year with that.
There's a church in town here where I live in Forked River, the Forked River Presbyterian Church, and the pastor there, Dr. Terry Chapman, he had visited in Uganda, our contact there, Caleb Rukundo. Caleb Rukundo has been running 2 orphanages for about 10 years, and about every 2 years, Dr. Terry Chapman would go over there and visit. And when my wife and I got involved in the church, Terry found out I was a dentist and brought up the idea, would I like to come over and try to help Caleb with the kids? There are some dentists in Uganda, but Caleb has about 100 kids, okay, and he just really can't afford to take them all to the dentist. He would only take them if something was maybe life-threatening. Okay. So I told Caleb and Terry I really didn't know anything about running a mission, but I would like to help out. So I spent about 9 months researching the topic and talking to other people in America, and luckily there were people in America who had done missions before, obviously a lot of missions, and studied what I needed to do and figured it out. And we went over in July. We had a team of 12 people who had different abilities to do different things. We had a school nurse, we had a teacher, we had an engineer, a pharmacist, a pastor, a psychiatrist, and we went over and we treated these 100 kids and also some people in the community. And what we found when we went over there was we really bonded with the people, and these people really became our friends. The children became our friends, and the staff there, Caleb and his staff, just kind of an awesome thing. And just the feeling of trying to help people. Oh my God, it gets me emotional now.
Oh, I bet.
Helping these kids. Caleb just does a wonderful job over there with the kids, and so we went over there with the team, and we brought portable equipment. We worked off a generator. I decided I wanted to screen all 100 kids and see what needs that they had. It turned out that about a third of the kids did not need any treatment, which is it's showing that Caleb is doing a very good job over there. He's really taking care of the kids, and the kids aren't really just going downhill with their teeth. A third of the kids did not need any treatment, and we ended up doing about 40 extractions and about 40 fillings, and using sodium diamide fluoride, which is a new fluoride out there that helps slow down decay, and it was just an awesome trip. One story I like to tell is a story. There was one young girl, Grace, who was about 18 years old, and she had a front tooth that was broken because of some abuse during her life, and the tooth had to come out. And so we told her the tooth had to come out, and she started crying and saying, "Nobody's going to love me. I don't have a front tooth." And obviously she was talking about, getting married and, some boy loving her. And she just was very upset over it. So my wife talked to her and said, "You know what, we're going to try to help you out." And my wife left Caleb some money when we left. We didn't have enough time to make a tooth there. We didn't have a lab.
Yeah, I was going to say, it'd be tough.
It'd be tough. So we left Caleb a couple $100, and we said, bring her to a dentist. And Caleb waited a month or two till the socket healed, brought her to a local dentist. They made her a little flipper, Perfect. At least for now. And 2 months later, they sent us a picture with Grace just smiling from ear to ear.
Oh,
and she's
so
happy.
awesome.
And Caleb said her life has changed because she's just coming out of her shell and just a beautiful person.
That's awesome. I love that, and I was going to say, because you go like 10, 12 days. I mean, if you could like get it when the first 2-3 day, I don't know what it is to get something to Uganda, but I get stuff all over the world. But if we could get it to where, even if you have something like 6 or 11 or whatever, the first 2-3 days, get some impressions, get them overnighted or second day, and I'll do them like a day or two and send them all back to you. So, where we could do something like that maybe, because I can get stuff all over, man. I can get things second day to Japan, but
wow,
it's just something that if you see something, or maybe you see something to plant a seed that maybe the following year or something we could really generate it, or look at that. You never know, man. How we could help it. Now I'm looking at some of your top 5 products that you talked about and stuff. Tell me about this varnish. It's like a Colgate Prevident varnish. What is that? How does it work? And tell me a little bit real quick on that.
Well, it's a varnish. In the days when I came out of dental school, we're using the regular fluoride.
Okay.
And the varnish just does a better job of getting the fluoride into the tooth, and cutting down decay. Now, I mentioned that a lot of my patients are older, and we may have some patients who are in their 80s and 90s who their hygiene is just not where we'd like them to be.
Okay.
Not through any fault of their own, but their dexterity, some of them, as they get older, their dexterity is not what it was when they were younger. So especially not just the young people for the sodium, not the sodium, the varnish.
Okay.
We use it for seniors, and we find it's a great service and trying to cut down decay as they're getting xerostomia later in life. Just a wonderful product. My hygienist, Joanna and Cheryl, really love it.
That's so neat. It's kind of like, is it like a sealant? Is it, or no? It's just like
no. It's more like a fluoride and a covering that tries to get fluoride to come down into the enamel and make the enamel stronger.
Okay.
Plus cut down on sensitivity.
Yeah.
A lot of them have sensitivity on teeth.
That's what I had. I had some abrasions on like 2 and 3 at the gingival aspect on the facial just from brushing too hard, and it kind of got sensitive, and they went in and put some of that varnish on there or something, and it no more sensitivity. It's pretty neat stuff, man. But I just kind of noticed that. And then one other thing, I noticed you do some team huddles. Is that weekly or is that daily? Tell me a little bit about that in your office.
We have a huddle every morning. Before the day starts, to kind of plan out our day and talk over patients. And I think if an office doesn't do that, that's something they really should do. As I said, with our elderly patients, we may have particular things that we want to know about, whether they need help getting into the chair or, a concern that maybe some family member brought up. So we just kind of have a quick meeting in the morning and discuss what the day is going to be. And I also like to have some control over my schedule. So if we have some emergencies, we'll discuss where to put the emergencies. I don't like the idea of telling patients if they have an emergency, they have to come in next week. So if anybody wants to come in, they're going to come in today. And that's just what we need to do as healthcare providers.
Absolutely. That's so awesome that you do that. Heck, I had it where a friend needed a root canal, and I talked to my dentist, and he didn't have the pull to the endo guy because probably he's not as close as he should be. And I think it was like 3 or 4 days out before he can get you in. And that's not right, man. You got to have some pull, baby. So yeah, treat your associates good, treat your people good, and treat your referring, specialists good. And they'll take care of you for sure. But well, heck, man, doctor, I can't thank you enough. I know you, just had a half an hour at lunch. You got to go back and cut us some more crowns. How are we doing as a lab? We doing okay? Our crowns fitting and doing good?
They're doing wonderful.
That's awesome.
One of the things reasons I started using you guys is the personal care. I had seen an advertisement where it discussed that you'll have a dedicated person to work just with us.
Yes.
And some of the labs, you're just a number of a very large lab. And for my patients, I want somebody that I can give up a call and tell them exactly what I need to do and kind of know what my tendencies are. So everything's
awesome.
going great so far.
Oh,
Great
that's so
far.
awesome, man. We try to do that. I mean, we try to be that little one-man lab. I mean, you have the same ceramists and same people you can talk to as management, but same techs working on you, and then we just get to know your wants and needs and how you like your profile set up, and when it comes to occlusal staining or emergence profiles, I mean, everything, and it's a neat thing. But hey, Dr. Rosenberg, man, I can't thank you enough. Congratulations on getting on the cover of Dental Town, and you have a great story, and if we can help anything with your trip out to Uganda, helping out, please let us know. And I know some people out there might be able to help also, and even if there's some vendors out there with some equipment and some supplies, man, well, let's try to get it the biggest trip out there this year and help those guys out. And whatever we could do to help you, man, we'd love to do it. But again, thank you for coming on the Dental Up podcast, and God bless you and your family, and we can't thank you enough.
Thank you very much. We'll keep in contact about the next trip, and there may be some dentists out there who want to experience a trip. I mean, it's the trip of a lifetime, and just a life-changing trip. And the other thing we're doing that some people might be interested in is, once we got their teeth done, we were kind of looking at the next area to try to help them.
Okay.
And the biggest thing in trying to get people out of poverty is education. Once their health care needs are taken care of and their food is taken care of, you want to break the cycle of poverty. So what we have just started with a sponsor program where people can sponsor the education of one of these 100 kids. $150 a year sponsors a kid to go to school for a whole year. The schools there are not free, but $150 compared to what you and I paid for our kids to go to college or whatever, or we pay in property tax.
Yeah.
So
I'll have to support like 10 kids at that price. So that's pretty awesome. And then also I knew you guys are doing the fluoridation or the water systems for the clean water. What are those run and how's that work? I just think that's the neatest thing, that there's some little kits that, you can get clean water, or how's that work?
Well, there's these water filtration units. We brought 50 of them over that we purchased in America.
Okay.
And what happens in Uganda is the water there is just not very clean, and because of that, the life expectancy basically is about 48 years.
Oh,
because of what's going on over there. And we can't fix the whole world, but we can try to do something for a small part of what we can do.
Absolutely.
So these water filtration units are very simple. They're just a filter that you run water through, and goes in one end, comes out the other, clean water. And part of our team, while we were doing the dentistry, as I said, we have 12 members of the team. 6 of the members were helping with the dentistry, and the other members were going out in the community outside of the orphanages and dealing with some of the local people and giving them these water filtration units and telling them how to use them, and helping their life expectancy and helping their health.
That's so awesome.
The other last neat thing I'll tell you about is we did bring over one of our 12 team members was a former high school football coach.
Yeah.
And he wanted to go over there, and I know you're big into football. So he spent 3 days training a bunch of the kids there to play football. And football's not an easy game to teach, but we ended up with a football game, an American football game, not soccer. And so that was pretty neat too. The kids really enjoyed learning that.
We got to do some scouting, man. We might see some kids that are like split gene, ready for be a defensive tackle, or who knows. We'll bring them over to America, be on the Rams. We'll have to set up their college career. We'll do that for sure. Real quick on those water filtrations, what do those cost? Just a guesstimate about. I'm just kind of wondering on that. You brought 50 over. How much you think they run about each in America to buy?
Well, the retail cost was $50 a piece, and as I said, we bought 50 of them. But I was able to, through a contact who has done. I have another dentist. His name is Dr. Gail Cheatwood out of California, and he does 3 or 4 missions a year. Just a wonderful person. And because he does so many missions, he contacted the president of the company who manufactures the water filtration units And this is one of the good things that's happened to me over the years, trying to help this mission, is I was able to get 50 of them for $13 a piece.
Oh,
so,
dude, that's so awesome. Let's try to do that this year. I'd love to help out myself from our laboratory just to help out. Let's get a couple hundred of those, especially at that price. If the guy's up for that, let me know, man. I'd love to get them water, man. I mean, you got to be able to drink water, dude, and that's just the basics. But now, good for you, man. God bless you on that, and I just really appreciate hearing that. And, dentistry is a platform for us that if we can use it to help, fellow humanity, man, let's do it. But good for you, man. It's great talking to you on this podcast. And again, man, thanks for everything. And we'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you for listening to me. And it was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
All right,
Thank you
Dr.
very much.
Rosenberg. All right, sir. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Dental Up Podcast Show this week. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or search the Dental Up Podcast on iTunes for our weekly feed. Don't forget to visit KeatingDentalArts.com/promo for exclusive offers. Keating Dental Arts is a full-service dental laboratory, and we're nationwide. We'd love for you to send us a case so we can show you the Keating difference. If you dig what you heard, please leave a review on iTunes, and we'll be back next week.